Welcome back to Cyber and Tech with Dre. Today I'm going to be configuring a Windows server in Active Directory. And the type of configuration is the password policy, which is a very critical element when it comes to securing your network and also for compliance purposes. Always say that it's a good practice to change your default passwords and your configuration when it comes to password policies. But how do we do this? So today we're going to go through that and show you all the steps that you need to take if you're using a Windows server. So I'm using Windows Server 2019, which is similar to the previous versions, but I think it's the latest one they have out now. So once you hit the Windows icon here, then you're going to go to Server Manager. And the Server Manager is used to do the administrative tasks. So this would be one of the administrative tasks that you'd want to do. You go to Tools here, and now you're looking for Group Policy Management. And once you get here, you're going to hit the domains here. And you're looking for default domain policy. You want to right click on that and hit edit. Next, you're going to computer configurations, then policies, Windows setting, and security settings. And here we're in the account policies. That's where the password and account lockout policies are. And those two are the ones that we will be configuring today. So the first one, password policy, you just click on that one. And as you can see, all of the settings are here. So whenever you are asking an administrator to show their password policy, these are the paths that they usually take to get there. All right, so to make the changes, you just click on, right click on it and hit properties. And you can go up or down, but for this one, the password remembered, you want to leave this at 24, because what this means is that the last 24 passwords used will be remembered, so they can't reuse the passwords. This is a big one because people will tend to reuse passwords that have been compromised. So this kind of helps to make it harder for hackers to break into your authentication system. The maximum password age is 42 days. This depends on whether this is secure, depends on the compliance requirement or the level of sensitivity of the data that's on the network. So I'm going to change this, assuming that it's very sensitive. I'm going to change it to 30 days for the purpose of this video. So I'll change it here, and you want to go to apply and OK. The password age, the minimum password age of 1 day means once you've created the password today, you can't change it today. So at least 1 day has to pass before you can change that password. That could remain. You could also change it. It just depends on what the policy that you have, the written policy. All right, so let's go to the minimum password length. Now the default for this is 7 characters, and for example, PCI DSS version 3 requires at least 7 characters. Now the updated version, which is 4.0, requires at least 12 characters. So we're going to go with that. And to do that, you right click as usual and you go up to 12. And hit OK. Now this option here is not defined. So let's define it, and then we're going to have a number on it. And what this means for the minimum password length audit is that if a password is created with a length that's less than the minimum length in your password policy, then you will be alerted, or there will be an audit log generated, and it's going to point to the account that was created using a password that's less than 12 characters. All right, so we'll apply that and hit OK. And the password must meet complexity requirements, and that's enabled. Store passwords using reversible encryption, that's disabled, because you don't want to store passwords using reversible encryption. Reversible encryption simply means that the passwords can be decrypted. Usually passwords are hashed and stored in the SAM file, which remains as a hash, and it adds a layer of difficulty for someone who may have access to these passwords. So we're going to leave that as disabled. And that is it for the password policy. Now we're going to look at the account lockout policy. So once you double click on that, the duration here is 45 minutes. Usually this is not enabled by default, but it looks like at some point I've done some configuration here. So I'm going to leave this at 45 minutes, but it's basically the same thing. You would right click and hit properties, and you can click define here if it's not defined, and then you put the amount of minutes there. So there's also an account lockout threshold, which is 5 invalid logon attempts, which means that after 5 attempts you will be locked out of the account, and then you will only be given the reset option after 30 minutes. So this 5 invalid logon attempts mitigates for brute force attacks, which is the attempt by an attacker to log in using guessed passwords multiple times. If I did not put 5 attempts and I put 0 attempts, then it would allow the attacker to continually guess the passwords until eventually they would get it. So this is really good here. Now that's it for password policy and account lockout policy. I hope that this was helpful to you guys. And if you like the video, you know what to do. Hit the like button. Remember to share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, so when I put new content out, you'll be the first one to know. Thank you again for watching, and see you soon.